far as gear failure goes, I've been pretty lucky. I haven't had any amps catch on fire or anything, at least not on stage. But years ago, Caven was on tour with ISIS. I think this was like 98, and we were at a rest stop, and our van caught on fire, and a bunch of our gear went up in flames, and we just sort of stared at it, from a distance, just marveling, not really believing what was going on. And that was pretty intense. We kind of lost everything that we had worked for up until that point. But as far as on-stage gear failure goes, I mean, probably just kids jumping on stage and smashing your pedal board, and something gets unplugged, and it could be any number of things, and you're just like, oh man, scrambling to figure it out. And there's so many like little wires and components, or even if a knob just gets turned the wrong way, then your sound can change dramatically. That's pretty much it.
The first time Down played the Download Fest, Donington, we still call it, was in 2006. Metallica were headlining, and it was the 20th anniversary of Master of Puppets. And it's always been a dream of mine, being such a big fan of the new wave of British heavy metal, to play Donington, Download. And I remember, we were the first band at 11 in the morning, but we had a full, 60, 70,000 people crowd. It was amazing. And about 3 songs in, my guitar starts messing up. The pedal board kind of went out to the point where I ended up not using the wireless. My friend Steve, good friend of mine, Steve Gibb, was teching for me at the time, and he gave me a regular cable, and that worked for a couple of songs, and the next thing I know, the whole pedal board was shot. So basically, I was just plugged straight into like a couple of Marshalls or whatever, with no wah-wah pedal, no chorus for solos, no overdrive, extra gain or anything. And it was kind of embarrassing, but it was just, of all times for it to happen, why did it have to happen that first time we played Download, in front of this huge crowd opening for Metallica? So that would be my biggest gear fail, probably. Although I've had a few others, that was the most memorable.
It's kind of like I'm kind of new to that drum stool, so I don't know how it works. But we were playing, and I was just gradually just getting lower and lower and lower, and everything.
You were getting something out of the basement.
And I just wanted the show to end.
Yeah.
Still told everyone I was better than them, though.
Well, you still were, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't your best show, you were still better than everyone.
I had a night once where my amplifier blew up, and then I broke a string on my guitar. And because I play with a Floyd Rose, once you break one string, the whole guitar goes out of tune. So that's all good and fine. But then I switched to my backup guitar, and then on that, I also broke a string. So I didn't have any guitars to play for the last song of the set. I just had to Henry Rollins that shit. Just take a mic and start yelling at people.
Besides the normal string breaking and guitar going out of tune, I would say probably monitor horror, which is, if the sound guy decides to sleep or text or something during your set. And it just, I did have a particular show where they were feeding so bad I thought I was really gonna lose my hearing from the show, and I just had to go so far away from monitor for anything, and just approaching the microphone I would get shocked too, which is just one of the worst things, trying to communicate music and then you actually get electrocuted while doing it. So probably the monitor fails have haunted me the most.
My Marshall just completely melted.
Buffalo?
In Buffalo. We were told to plug in, and it was fine into the wall, but it was actually a circuit that surged a lot more electricity than we needed. Oh, anybody needed. Basically, it could power the sun. And it fried my head completely. My tubes melted, and it looked like Chernobyl on the bottom. It was just glass on the bottom, completely fucked.
And then we borrowed someone else's amp and fried that.
Yeah. Wasn't our fault.
Yeah. So, Club W in Buffalo, I don't know if you're still functioning, but you need to figure some stuff out.
Several years ago, we played a show, and there was The only problem we had was a speaker cable that was bad, which we were not aware of. However, we went ahead and shorted out 3 different heads that weren't even ours before realizing that it was something as simple as a speaker cable. And ever since, we've had speaker cables that worked, I'll tell you that. So that was the worst gear fail for us.
There's been so many fucking gear fails. I've had 27 years of ultra spinal tap moments. I've had moments where I've been playing guitar and the entire guitar just drops on the floor and I'm just standing there, you know. I've fallen off the side of the stage. In Valenfire, I've pulled the end of the mic out and not realised nothing's been coming out front, you know. It's one long catalogue of disasters, so, you know.
We played in somewhere in the US, I can't remember when, I hit my cymbal and the bell was still on the stand, but the rest fell down on the floor because the bell was still, it was still sitting on the stand, but the rest broke, so it just fell down. So I punched my cymbal through. Good quality cymbals.
I don't know, I think for me it's the little shit, like, I remember, like, specifically this one show at O'Brien's in Boston, like, early on and stuff like that, where, like, first 5 notes, the first song, I broke, like, 2 strings at the same time. Go to grab another guitar, it's totally just out of whack and everything like that. Besides that, just cabs failing, man, it's, like, it's always the little shit that gets me. I can't, like, I don't have one catastrophic story, I guess, but those end up being the worst shows for me, is when I fucking just do something stupid and little like that.
Los Angeles at the Troubadour. We were playing this really great show. All of our friends were there, family, just everybody that was just so stoked that we were there. And like 2 songs in, effect pedal board just craps out. I end up like jiggling everything, trying to figure everything out. And not only is the signal cut, but it's just going like And Noah ended up having to play like a drum solo. I mean, we were scrambling to figure out what was going on. And then I finally just plugged straight into an amp and just started going, but I didn't have like a tuning pedal or anything, so the rest of the set was just like out of tune, and we just kind of fell apart, but you know, you learn from those things.